Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. This is our first Ryzen 7000 build. Not much more to say about it. What we're gonna do in this video is, obviously, you're gonna come with me as we put together our first Ryzen 7000 build. We actually benchmark this system as well, so yeah, stick around. And make sure you're subscribed, guys, if you like videos like this, because YouTube is doing some really weird stuff, so double check that you're actually subscribed, notification bell, all that stuff. Let's jump in. That's our first Ryzen 7000 build, but we need to visit our friends over at Corp because this is a brand new case. Here we go, front first. Ooh, nice and silent. Oh, this one's making a bit better sound. Ooh. Sticks to my head. All right. You know what time it is? What? Is there something on my face? Don't do this at home, by the way. All right, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed our first Ryzen 7000 build, but let's take a little bit of a look at the performance of this system and some of the thermals and just everything. Now, there's a few little bits and pieces with the testing that I just wanted to point out before we begin here. Basically, what I decided to do was benchmark this exact system. We actually used this motherboard and RAM combo for all of our Ryzen 7000 testing because it was provided to us from AMD. So, you know, that's how it works with these launches. So everything that you're seeing here is done with this hardware. However, this is a different GPU that we use to all of our other testing that you're going to see in this video as well. Just to let you guys know as well, as soon as we received the CPUs, we did all of the testing, including the testing for this hardware here. So the results that you're seeing, probably by the time this video comes out, is probably, I'm gonna say 10 days old at this point. But with these launches, things change closer to the date. So what you're seeing is what we recorded at that point in time. To better understand these graphs, you can take a look at the key at the bottom. The pinkish color is the Ryzen 9 7900X, and the blue color is obviously the Intel Core i9-12900K, and the system featured in this video is the result in the middle in bold. So what we're seeing on this graph is the Radeon 6900 XT with the 7900X is the best result here with Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 1080p. Moving on to 1440p, the 7900X and the 3090 Ti is showing us the best result. And lastly, at 4K, once again with this hardware, the 3090 Ti and the 7900X is showing the best result here. Moving on to Unigine superposition at 1080p extreme, which is highly GPU bound. Once again, we're seeing the 7900X with the 3090 Ti top out the results. At 1440p custom with depth of field and no motion blur turned on, we're seeing that actually the 12900K is showing us the better result here. And at 4K optimized, all of these results start to level out, and we're seeing pretty much the same thing because we're highly GPU bound. On to Cyberpunk 2077, the way that we did these tests is with the high setting with FSR set to balance, because FSR works with both NVIDIA GPUs and AMD GPUs, and we're seeing that the 6900 XT at 1080p is showing us the best result with the 7900X. Moving on to 1440p in Cyberpunk, and we're seeing the 6900 XT show us the best result. However, the 12900K slightly edges out the 7900X. And lastly, at 4K in Cyberpunk, we're seeing the 12900K and the 3090 Ti show us the best result by about 2 frames per second. Moving on to Horizon Zero Dawn at 1080p, we're seeing that the 6900 XT pulls away from the rest of the pack with the 7900X. We're also seeing the same result here being echoed at 1440p. And once again, the 7900X tops out the chart with the 3090 Ti at 4K. Finally, with Basemark GPU. Now, Basemark has really high numbers, but don't let that fool you, because the percentage differences between the results here are less than you would think. What we're seeing is at 1080p, the 3090 Ti is the fastest with the 12900K by only 2 frames per second. At 1440p, we're actually seeing the inverse of that with the 3090 Ti and the 7900X showing the best results. And lastly, at 4K, topping out the entire chart is the 7900X and the 3090 Ti by 4 frames per second. All right, so it performs quite well, but what about the hardware? The CPU is the AMD Ryzen 9 7900X. We put the 7900X on the Asus ROG Crosshair X690E Hero. Wow, that is an absolute mouthful. To cool the 7900X, we use the NZXT Kraken Z73. Now, we use the AM4 mounting here because it is compatible. I have seen over the last couple days that companies have been releasing AM5 upgrade kits. It's just a bit confusing considering I've had no problems mounting these coolers to the new CPUs. So. The GPU is the Asus ROG STRIX RTX 3080 12GB OC. All the fans that you're seeing in this system are the brand new Lian SL120 Infinity Uni fans, and all of the hardware is inside the brand new MagniumGear Neo Qube 2 with the infinity mirror. This is not an O11. I just wanted to say that because we got so many comments on Instagram and on YouTube from people just seeing the photo and they thought it was like an O11 with like a special front panel, but it's actually a completely different case, although it is similar to the O11. But yeah, I don't need to get into that right now. This one was a bit of fun. I kind of miss just doing builds like this, although I did enjoy testing this because it is something new and it is something that we haven't actually got to play with yet. Well, at the time of filming. I mean, what I mean is you guys haven't had a chance to play with it. We've done plenty of testing. We've actually got another video coming out probably when this one comes out, and we're taking a bit of a closer look at the 7600X versus a bunch of other lower end CPUs, because I feel like that's probably gonna be the CPU that most people are gonna be interested in. Make sure you get yourself subscribed if you're not already, and make sure you double check that you're subscribed, because we'll be getting lots of reports from people saying that YouTube has unsubscribed them from our channel. Once again, YouTube, what are you doing? Anyways, guys, I love you all very, very much. We've spent so much time testing all of this new stuff. Hopefully it lives up to your expectations. I personally think that this new stuff is going to be sick, and it's only gonna get better over time. We always see this with these generations as well. So newer BIOS updates, there's more performance tuning and stuff like that. And you gotta remember, like I mentioned, we tested this stuff so early, the power limits and stuff aren't even implemented into the BIOSes properly yet. So we manually tweaked them, and in our full CPU review, I actually go over how we tweak PBO to get those power limits and just maximize the performance of these CPUs as well without actually touching any of the core frequencies or anything like that. Anyways, guys, I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek, and I'm out. Man, we've been testing so much. It feels good to get this one in the bag, guys. I appreciate you all very much. Thanks for watching.